What's going on, YouTube? Today I'm going to give you the top 5 things that actually could have ruined my company. These are all things that I'm guilty of, right? So I feel I'm very comfortable with speaking on it. Hopefully, my mistakes you'll be able to learn from, grow from, and then create your own policies as some of these things are get presented to you, right? Number 5, blurring the lines between friends and employees, or employees and friends. I would strongly suggest that it's always good to be personable with people, especially with your staff. But you never want them to know too much about your personal life, and you don't want to know too much about their personal life. First situation, I remember this girl, she would, to date, like, she was the best cleaner that we've ever had. She would come in, she would do her work, she took pride, she was amazing. But what happened was, and she was really like the first. What happened was, through the time, through our time together, we knew a lot about her personal life, and when you start to feel sorry for certain people, and then you kind of lend them, since they're helping you, they're not helping for free, they're working for you, and they're building, right? They're helping you build your dream or build your goal, and they kind of start to get a sense of entitlement, and the entitlement was probably due to our fault as well, by being so lenient, where it's like, okay, well, I'm going to come to work, but I'm going to come to work 15 minutes late. It's okay, don't worry about it, just as long as you're here, you get it done. And throughout time, those things kind of snowball, into this bigger problem. And we didn't really notice how big the problem was until we started bringing in more staff, and more staff. And they're starting to see that she's being treated a little bit different, right? And all of that could have been avoided. And all of this, I take full responsibility. All of that could have been avoided had we had just kept the relationship cut and dry, black and white. Like, I'm the boss, you're the worker, and everything. Our whole relationship is strictly transactional, right? So now we don't share nearly as much information. I'm not asking for them to share any personal information, anything like that at all. You just want to definitely make sure that you're careful, just because you don't want those lines blurred where people feel like you owe them something, or then they become they have a sense of entitlement, when it's like, well, I want the best account, or I want the weekends off, or this, that, and the third. You just always want to make sure that there's a clear line between employee and employer, and don't cross those lines. Number 4, being inconsistent with pay. This, I've done this before, where it's payday. Well, let's say today is let's say tomorrow's payday. Well, most of the time, you have up until 5 o'clock the day before, depending on who you process your payroll through. You have up until 5 o'clock the day before to process payroll. And if you process, say you don't remember until 5:30 or 6 o'clock, well, they're not going to get that. They're not going to get paid the following day. They're going to get paid the day after that, right? So people don't really want to play about their money, and I completely understand. I've had instances where I forgot. I'm on the phone letting them know this is what happened, but I can cut you, I can cancel the direct deposit, but I can bring you a check where you can go ahead and cash the check. That's happened on a couple of different times, right? So now we have a different policy in place where, I have always so much stuff going on. Now I delegate that stuff over to a bookkeeper to make sure that so now there is no mix-up. There is no one that's going to forget. So these are all things that, I had to personally go through to make sure that this thing right here doesn't happen again. Number 3, assuming that all of your staff will take ownership of the work that they do. That's not the case. You'll be lucky if half of your staff takes ownership of the work they do. You have to understand, just like anyone else, we've all been in the position of a worker, even if you're there now. A lot of the times, people are coming to work to do the minimum job to get the maximum amount of money, and they're going to keep it moving. And This is no different. The only difference is that now I get to sit in the employer's chair and watch it happen. So this is one of the biggest reasons why I had to go ahead and get auditors. If it wasn't for, if everyone would take ownership of the work that they do and do the work that they were trained to do, then there would never be a need for me to have an auditor. Because number two, making sure that you hire the right person for the job. Don't be in a situation where you are desperate to bring someone in and you just hire anybody. There's a process to hiring people. And if you don't follow the process, if you skip out on something, then that can cost you, it could cost you an account. It can cost you money through different agencies. Like, there's a process to the way that you hire. Now, a background check is optional, but I highly recommend it. Having someone do a background check, that's one of the things that are, is usually overlooked. But if you're serious about your company and you're serious about growth, then I would definitely say get a background check done, right? You want a background check done, you want references done. And here's the other thing too. This is another thing that really gets overlooked a lot of the time. And this right here is definitely something that you're going to be able to use, and I hope you really do use it. On the back end of doing your background checks and your reference checks, you want to fill out what's called an I-9. A lot of the time, people do not do these I-9s, and it can come up and it can bite you in the end. So the I-9 is basically it's a verification check. You have to you basically have to make sure that the person is legal to work in the United States, right? And that gets skipped over so much. And if you're in a situation where you don't do it and comes down later on that you skip that process, that's going to cost you. It's going to cost you a little bit of money. So making sure that you hire the right person. That's number two. Number one, the number one thing is being too nice, letting people come to work late, letting people leave work early, consistently, without justification, giving customers unnecessary discounts, giving customers free service, giving customers, all of these things that you should be paying for. You have to look at it like this. Your business is your child, and your child relies on you to protect it at all times. So it needs your protection, it needs your nourishment, it needs your guidance, it needs all of these different things. And the same way you wouldn't let anyone take advantage of your child is the same. You have to have that same mindset when it comes to your business. You don't want anyone to take advantage of your business. You're not going to let anyone take advantage of your business. And being too nice, giving away services, giving raises when they aren't warranted, these are all things that are opening the door for your business to be taken advantage of. Now, guys, I'm telling you all of this stuff not because I'm somebody who's just sitting on the top of the hill looking down, because that's not it. Everything that I just told you, I've made these mistakes. I've made all of these mistakes. And all of these mistakes, because like I say, I'm always dropping jewels. Just make sure you're in position to pick them up. You do that by liking, commenting, and subscribing. Once again, my name is Marcus Crockett. I will catch you in the next one. Peace.